guys, how's it going? It's Ghost Hands, also known as Nick. I don't know if I've ever revealed my actual name, but yeah, my name is Nick. Nice to meet you guys. I'm here with my friend Kevin in beautiful Iceland, which we've been here for a couple of days, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay. This has been a wonderful time. It's just gotten a bit dark outside.
Yeah.
It's been pretty sunny out. But yeah, it's just been a good place to reset.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin and I have known each other for like 10 years, 12 years at this point.
I feel like longer than that even.
Dude, I don't even know, like literally elementary school.
Yeah.
We started a band, like a cover band in like grade 6.
In grade 6, grade 7.
Yeah, we played at the talent shows.
Yeah.
We had some trauma.
Yeah, trauma.
Some of those talent shows. Some beef with former band members. I don't even know.
The whole thing.
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
That's ancient history right now.
Yeah.
Here we're here to talk about, ghost hands and whatever
art,
else.
The state of art.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just get into it. Music. Art. You make
life,
music.
Whatever. I do make music on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's
still doing it?
I'm still doing it. I've just turned it into like a bit of an art piece. Like of course I go to OCAD and did there for the exhibition.
Yeah.
Put together a little thing, did that. We'll release that eventually. Just need to fine tune a bit
cool.
more.
Yeah.
But you workhorse.
Yeah, I'm trying my best, man. I think it's just become like part of my routine now. Like I can't go a few days without at least, well, I think about my work all the time, but like I crave getting back to it. Like we've been here for like almost a week and like I'm so ready to go back home and just like immediately start writing again, start producing again. I mean, I think a break like this is awesome for just to draw in all the inspiration that I can. Yeah. So
you taking inspiration from all this scenery, this Iceland?
It's an interesting thing to take abstract scenery and abstract things in life and convert that into art. Because I feel like that art already exists within the universe, and we're kind of just like grabbing it out of various things and then molding it into whatever our piece of art may be, whether it's a sculpture or a song.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like music especially is incredibly abstract because it just kind of permeates within the space. You know? It just kind of echoes. You can't really escape from it when it's playing. You can't escape from it whenever. So that's just another thing of the medium. Just it's there, it's everywhere. It's
also ephemeral. Like
ephemeral,
it just like evaporates immediately. It hits your ear and like all you have is the memory of it. Like there's not a continuous experience of that specific sound.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you keep that in mind when you make music? Do you keep that in mind, that ephemerality when it comes to do you try to really just make an earworm, make something that sticks, or do you just kind of embrace that ephemerality? Just
honestly, I haven't really thought about it that much until recently. Like I was reading Rick Rubin's book recently, and he like goes into that a little bit, and it really opened my eyes to just the fact that how ephemeral music is, and a lot of art is in that way. And I think going forward, I will think about that a little bit more when I make music, but as of now, I don't. It's such an interesting thing. Like most people really don't think about music in that way or art in that way. Have you?
Yeah, I've thought about it because especially I think the interaction with just putting something out there now, you leave your mark, and it's kind of there forever until like the universal servers go down, and the big EMP hits,
the internet,
and, like, everything goes down. But no, once you put something out there, it's there, right? And so I think you're no stranger to that. You have a whole discography full. You've got song after song after song. How is that like? What do you think about your release schedule? It's a very. I find that you're quite unique in the landscape, just constantly putting stuff out, and just seeing what sticks. Just putting projects out quite consistently, compared to other artists that just kind of like put stuff out there and then just like break. You're just always on the scene.
Yeah, man. I'm always on to the next thing. Like I can't sit around and like let a project marinate for too long. Like I have to let it be, give it to the audience, give it to the world, and then do my thing. I kind of just forget about it. I usually only like revisit projects that I've made like maybe 2 years after.
Right.
Because like, I don't know, I can't listen to my own stuff after it's released until I have to like become a stranger to it again. So releasing a lot of stuff comes with that curse in a way where there's just so much stuff that I am abandoning for a little bit, for a little while, like in my brain at least. I just let it go. But in terms of the actual creative process and the workflow, I don't know, it's like second nature to me now. I know a lot of people like make a ton of stuff but then just never release it, and I've never been like one of those people. Like if I'm gonna make something, if I'm gonna finish something and I'm gonna try my hardest to finish it and make it the best it can be, then why not release it?
Right.
Like some people, I have friends who are musicians who are insanely talented, who make songs that I think are like absolutely gorgeous, and I beg them to release it, but they just don't, or they wait like 3 years to do it. I'm not naming names, but like, man, it bugs me so much. Just like release it. It doesn't matter. Like I get it if you're like an industry artist and you have a whole like team and label like stopping you from doing it, which, you know, it's a whole different story, which I also don't like. I think people should just be able to drop whenever, but yeah, I don't know. I think you should just release your art, man. Like
yeah. You're quite generous in that regard, right? Compared to most other artists that kind of just feed breadcrumbs to their audience.
I guess
so.
Yeah.
Giving, and that is fantastic. I think.
I don't see it that way. I'm just, you know.
Yeah.
But sure. Yeah.
I think your audience really appreciates that. I really appreciate that. Yeah. And so, going back a little bit, have you become a stranger to some of your music? Have you gone back and?
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, anything earlier than 2021 is like, I can't, like, it feels like a different person.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sure that in like 2 years from now, I'll look back at the music I made this year and I'll be like, Well, I feel like anything, like my quality has gotten to the point where I can look back and be like, and like see the technical merits of it, or like the creative merits. And I can even do that to the songs that I wrote, like when I started in 2019, when I started this project, like the ghosthands project. Yeah, there's just certain things, like my voice has definitely developed, I think, and my writing has definitely developed, and those two are like the big ones that I notice, and like obviously the production and all that, but I look back and cringe sometimes. So but I think, you know, every artist goes through that, and you're always going to find things that you like and things that you don't like in your past work, right. Especially as you become more of a stranger to it, and you feel like a different person compared to that version of yourself.
And so, also on that topic, a little bit less so, but you're like performing your work.
Yeah.
I know you did your thing for Humber.
Yeah.
Live show for
Humber recital.
Fantastic, great work. Live shows.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I want to do live shows. I don't know. For a long time, I've always been like, I'm not into performing live. It's not my thing. But like, I think I've warmed up to it, and I think it will come eventually. It's a matter of seeking out the opportunities or waiting for the opportunities to reach me, which usually takes longer, unless something happens. If you want me to do a show and book me, let's do it.
Oh, you already.
We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to perform like similar to what I did for my recital, which is like a band, just like me and my friends playing these songs and just having a lot of fun on stage. That's it. Yeah.
Could you go deeper into that? Like how did that feel? Just like, you know, performing your work live, and that's just like having.
It was cool because all the arrangements were like completely different from the studio versions, because we had to, in the studio, in the recorded versions, it's a lot of like either not live instrumentation or live instrumentation with like a whole lot of layers and cuts and edits and effects. So a lot of the songs translated really well, and a lot of them translated well but ended up sounding very different and having a different vibe. And I think that's really cool to explore in a live setting, because in a way, it's a different art form from recorded music. So we'll see. We'll get into it.
We'll see.
I'm gonna get into it.
If you want to hear more of that, book this man for live shows. You'll get
tour, Ghost Hands tour 2024, 2025. I don't know. Who knows? 2026. I don't know. But one day, yes.
Yeah. So what goes into making a record? Where do you start? What's the draw? What do you draw from? Just we're talking about that. We're here in Iceland here. Beautiful scenery, beautiful experiences.
Yeah.
We have that, but of course, back home, back in good old regular suburban Canada.
Yeah.
What's the draw there? What's the creation process like?
Man, it's kind of evolved quite a bit. I think I started like a lot of people do with just like making an instrumental and then writing to it. But as I've learned just things about songwriting and life in general and just the creative process from like all kinds of different disciplines, I feel like my approach has evolved where now I can start with like a singular word, like no music. I'll have like a word, I'll have like a concept, and then I'll like write a line that is like in tune with that concept, and then from that line it'll inspire a guitar riff, and then I'll be like, oh, guitar riff, and then I'll write a verse based on the guitar riff, then I'll record the guitar riff, and then I'll add drums on it, and I'll have that verse, and then I'll add like another part. So it's like literally going back and forth and mix and matching and until like a full piece comes out of it. And every song is different. Sometimes I write the entire song before recording anything, and sometimes I record and make the entire structure of the production, or even produce the entire thing instrumentally and then only add vocals after. So I think it's so cool, specifically with music, that, and especially in this day and age with this technology, that I can mold everything in whatever order I want and all by myself. So it's a cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. I do a similar thing now where it's just kind of you just jumble a bunch of ideas.
Yeah.
And you just start going at it piece by piece, just whatever it is, just like what melodic line or just like a word or an idea.
Exactly.
And then you just kind of build on top of that, just kind of like layers of
It's
sediment.
multifaceted,
Yeah. Just a bunch of dirt that piles up on top of each other, then we see.
And then you polish it, and then sometimes you gotta like shave some off, you know.
Little diamond in the rough.
Yeah, right? You tape some on sometimes, you know. Yeah.
So that's a bit of the how.
Yeah.
How about the why? Why do you make art? That's the big question.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know, like why do you make art?
Why do I make art? I don't know, just cause.
Yeah, exactly.
What else is there to do?
Why do you make Hey, Andrew, why do you make art?
Because I'm lonely.
There you go. In case that wasn't heard, that was probably heard, but he said because he's lonely, and I feel that. Yeah, honestly, yeah. It's because like just the human experience, like we are stuck in our own bodies and our own brains, and I think art is a way to scream into the void to see if anybody hears it.
It's to fill it, right?
Yeah.
It's to fill it.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think that's the reason art will never die. Like, there's all the talk about like AI replacing art, but like I don't think that'll ever really happen. I think human art is like, people always want to create art. Sure, maybe certain parts of it that are like easily automatable and like aren't really made for, I don't know, like just things that are made for mass consumption,
right,
and that things that aren't meant to be consumed in a thoughtful way. I think sure, maybe could be replaced, but anything that is meant to evoke emotion in like an actual way. I don't know, like I think people can tell, and I don't think the thing with AI, like it doesn't have a story.
Right.
Like when an artist makes a painting and you know about like their struggles, or like even if you don't know about their struggles, you know it's a person behind that painting, and you can see in that painting a part of their struggles.
So then do you think behind like every piece of work there is like a deeper, much deeper story? connected to each and every piece of human art.
Yeah, and it might not even be something that you can explain or even tangibly like experience in any way from their perspective. But yeah, I think every single piece of art has like an intangible, infinite story attached to it.
So short form, what is your story?
Bro. I don't know yet. It's still being written, you know, like I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. And I don't think anybody knows. Maybe I think people look at people's lives in retrospect. But even then, you can look at Van Gogh, like what was his story? I don't know, like he had tinnitus.
Yeah, he went
cut
insane, cut his ear off, was depressed, never made it until he did.
Exactly.
Years after he died.
Exactly.
It's not a very optimistic story.
Yeah, but you know, there's life after death in that way. Your art lives on.
Yeah, it does.
As long as the internet is alive, I will. You can listen to Ghost Hands tunes for centuries to come, for millennia to come. Please stream Ghost Hands in the year 3000. If you're watching this video in the year 3000, please comment down below.
We'll appreciate those comments.
We'll appreciate those comments.
You know, all those people that just go like, you know, hey, I'm in like the year X, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to this.
Come to Brazil.
That. Yeah, do that to Ghost Hands music.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's time for Q&A. We had a few Q&A questions from Instagram. We're gonna get into some of those.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
First off, how do you like Canada?
It's my home. It's where I grew up. What can I say? I'm a proud Canadian. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. A lot of people think of it as like America's little brother because we basically have the same things and sort of the same culture. But we're like a little bit more chill, I feel like. I don't know. Maybe that's just a stereotype, but it's cool. I like Canada. Come to Canada.
I mean, you like it quite a bit because,
I guess I reference it a lot of my music.
Your side project as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I have a lo-fi, like, chill hop side project called Under the Maple Tree, and that's, like, very much inspired by nature and more specifically the Canadian maple tree, the red maple tree. And I was like, I'm gonna make a little project that explores this sort of vibe, this sort of nature-y, basically inspired by the forests of Canada. So yeah,
it's quite iconic, quite serene.
Yeah,
in many ways.
yeah.
Next question by a good old friend Left Quiet.
Oh yeah, shout out Jake.
Favorite number.
Favorite number. Man, I don't know if I have a favorite number. Okay, I'll list some numbers that I like. I really like the number 5 because it's like, I don't know, it's just an iconic number.
Yeah.
21 is a good number for various reasons. I'm gonna leave it at those two.
Okay.
5 and 21 are the lucky numbers of today.
You see those in your lottery. Buy that lottery number.
Yeah.
Scratch those cards.
Yeah.
Now, by Wolf Boy, what inspired you to create music? We've touched on this a little bit, but maybe just to go a little deeper. This is a repeated question.
Yeah, there's a couple of those in there. Yeah. Okay, we'll start with. I think there's 2 versions of that question in there, where it's like there's a question that specifies like non-musical inspirations. So obviously other art inspires my music a lot. Like I'll hear an idea that someone else had and be like, or like literally like a chord or like a voicing or a chord progression, and I'll put my own spin on it. Like if I really resonate with it, it's not theft. This is the creative process. Yeah, like I have like a whole like list of like my favorite chord progressions. I make like on Spotify, I make like playlists of my favorite chord progressions, the songs that use them, and just collect them all. Like my favorite chord progression is 4, 5, 6, and I have a playlist with like 500, 600 songs in it, because literally whenever I hear it, or it's like an inside joke with some of my friends too, and whenever they hear it, they'll just send it to me and we compile this whole playlist. Anyways, I'm getting really off topic. So inspiration, right? So yeah, like I'll hear sounds that I like, and to put my own spin on it, combine them, mash them together, see what sticks. And as for non-musical inspirations, a big one is nature, obviously. Thank you, Iceland, for providing me with this inspiration. I'll make some great tunes when I'm back, even though this video will be out when we're already back. So I'm currently making those tunes right now. Yeah, and also just like my friends, like you guys inspire me to make music. Like your life stories, my own life experiences, my family, like just people, like the people in my life inspired me both indirectly and directly through their stories and their experiences. And that's probably the biggest one. Yeah.
It's quite a wholesome answer, both scope and heart. Here a question by ohan.co.
Yeah.
Who's an artist you've been listening to recently?
What have I been listening to? I have been listening to a lot of Jeremy Zucker recently. I've been listening to him like a lot for the past couple of years, and you could probably tell in my music some inspiration. But let's see. I don't know why I'm forgetting. Man, we've been listening to a lot of the Skyrim soundtrack while here in Iceland, and honestly, it goes so crazy. So shout out Jeremy Soule. Dude, it's so good though.
It's too much. Okay. Are we gonna see some Skyrim influence?
We're gonna see some Skyrim influence. Oh, okay. I've been listening to a lot of Lontalius. I think he's incredibly underrated. He has that one song that like did well on TikTok, I think. Sleep Through Your Alarms. I don't know if it was from TikTok or something, but that one is like his big hit. But like the rest of his discography is amazing and incredibly underrated, I think. I'll leave it at those for this.
Sure, that's a nice short list.
There's more, but we don't have enough time.
Now, this is a question by @0deaths_lol. How are your lyric videos genuinely the most aesthetic thing out there?
I appreciate that. I don't think they are the most aesthetic thing out there, but I very much... Well, they're pretty aesthetic. I just try to look for something that fits the emotion or the vibe of the song. And it's just like a little visual of something I could see going with the song. Yeah, that's all there is to it. I just see the beauty in things around you and combine it with different art, and there you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Yeah. I mean, quite straightforward. Very practical answer at that. Now, another question from rafas.df. How were you while you were making Figure It Out?
Oh, man. Yeah. Figure It Out. That was a very important song for me because I think a lot of the people that listen to me now found me through that song. So that was in 2020. That was 3 years ago, man. I think it was like almost exactly 3 years ago when I started making it, or like a little bit less than 3 years ago. I remember, so a bunch of my friends and I had a weekly sample challenge where we would like, it was during the pandemic, so we would like, I don't know if you ever participated in that, but I wish you did. I hope we'll do it again. But basically we met up on Discord every Friday night, and somebody would pick like a sample, and then we would get 1 hour or 2 hours depending on the week to make a song or make something with that sample. It might be like a guitar riff, it might be like a singular sound of like a horse screaming, like it could be like literally anything. Every week it was different, and we made something with it. So one of the weeks, the gimmick of the week was we have to make something in the style of one of our friends, and our good friend Tomo Reynolds was tasked with making something in the style of my music. And he made that iconic piano riff and Figure It Out, and that like ambient and like the voices you hear like singing the hums and figure it out is him. And yeah, like I heard it and I was like, dude, this can't just be like a meme. Like this is like legitimately gorgeous. So I asked him for the stems afterwards, and then I made the beat in like a day or two, and immediately started writing to it, and it just had such a wistful, nostalgic quality to it that was like perfect. I don't know, for my vibe. And how was I at the time? Yeah, that song is definitely about like feeling stuck and feeling stuck, but feeling hopeful for the future. I think is a very big theme in my music, and a lot of when we write together, that's like a big one. Yeah. Just the big theme in our music, because I think that's just so, especially just like in the type of life that we grew up in, like in the suburbs. It's like you feel kind of stuck. Yeah. But at the same time, you feel kind of hopeful because you're like, there is more out there to see, and I can see it. Like you can touch it, but you're just not quite there.
Right. Yeah. You can see the lights off in the distance.
Exactly.
But you're not quite there yet.
So, yeah. So I guess that's how I was feeling. Especially that was like during the pandemic. I think I was in first year. Yeah. It was just it was quite a time. So I was feeling stuck but ambitious. There you go.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions, but we have to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
So, one last question for me and for, I guess, the rest of the fans. What can we expect from Ghosthands, immediate future?
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm going to be dropping a little EP, a 3-song EP. Very much acoustic inspired, and like it's all ballady and acoustic. I think you guys will like it a lot. And I have an extra special project with Ohan coming out later this year. Shout out Ohan. If you don't listen to his music, you should. And I have a bunch of songs with him, so I'm sure you've heard his lovely voice, and you'll hear plenty more. I have a lot of music on the way, a lot of projects that I haven't started writing or creating, but I just have the concept in my brain. And hopefully we're gonna make some more stuff. Yeah,
we will.
Hell yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Great talking to you here in Iceland. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. I love you all. Good night.
And that's us from here, from beautiful scenic Iceland.